Former President Donald Trump is in Florida, waiting out the possibility of criminal charges in New York, while the city itself braces for protests that could follow an indictment. Meanwhile, Republican contenders in the 2024 presidential race are sizing up the impact of a prosecution could have on the campaign. The New York grand jury investigating Trump over a hush money payment to porn star appears poised to complete its work, but not as soon as Trump had predicted.
We fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
America's political and legal institutions are bracing for their next extreme test posed by former U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump's prediction on Saturday that he could be arrested this week and his attempt to ignite a preemptive backlash made the theoretical prospect of an ex-president and 2024 candidate being criminally charged appear much more real.
These four horrible, radical left Democrat investigations of your all-time favorite president, me, is just a continuation of the most disgusting witch hunt.
Trump is currently facing an investigation over an alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
A guy walked up on me and said to me, "Leave Trump alone, forget the story." And then he leaned around and looked at my daughter and said, a beautiful little girl, it'd be a shame if something happened to her mom.
A grand jury process appears to be in its final stages, and Trump's legal team has been preparing for the possibility of an indictment, asking the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to call lawyer Bob Costello to testify before the grand jury in what could contradict government witness Michael Cohen's prior testimony.
Listen, if they want to go after Donald Trump and they have solid evidence, so be it. But Michael Cohen is far from solid evidence.
What do you think of Costello testifying recently in front of the grand jury in Bragg's investigation?
I think it was important. I was very impressed by him. I think he did the ethical thing that he should do, and it was it says a lot about their key witness.
The current case in question revolves around whether Trump illegally covered up an $130,000 payment made by his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, to Daniels to keep quiet about an alleged past relationship ahead of the 2016 election, potentially representing an infringement on campaign finance law. The former president has since launched a characteristic effort to discredit attempts to call him to account, trying to intimidate prosecutors, mobilize his grassroots supporters, and pressure top GOP officials to rally to his side.
I look at it from this perspective. We live in America and it should be equal justice. This was personal money. This wasn't trying to hide. This was 7 years ago, statute of limitation. And I think in your heart of hearts, you know too, that you think this is just political.
We don't think President Trump broke the law at all.
Trump's call over the weekend for his loyalists to, quote, protests, take back our nation, struck an ominous tone since he showed on January 6, 2021, that he is willing to incite violence to further his interests. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg hasn't explained his strategy, but the hush money payment could potentially be used to build a case for falsifying business records and violating campaign finance law.
The last thing I want to do is run afoul of any rules or in any way negatively impact our investigation.